Hi, welcome to the InterAccess channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about zero knowledge proofs, or ZK proofs as they're sometimes known. And I want to explain them a little bit about what they are, and I'm not going to get into a horrible amount of technical detail. But what I'm going to talk about is a little bit about how they work, and as part of that, talk about how they might be affected or how they might affect the financial services industry, financial professionals and stuff, and why they might be important in the financial world. Please also don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to the newsletter if you get a chance, and you get stuff like this in your inbox every week. All right, zero knowledge proofs, or ZK proofs. ZK proofs as they're sometimes known. Let me talk a little bit about what they are. Again, not getting into too much technical detail, but the idea of a zero knowledge proof, or ZK proof, has actually been around for quite a while in the world of cryptography. And the idea is, how can I get across some information to you? How can I prove some bit of information to you about me without giving up all my information? And so the way it was given to me at one point, the way it was explained to me by someone was, imagine that you are trying to get into a bar. So you want to prove to the bouncer at the bar that you're 21 years old, that you're at least 21 years old, but you want to do so without showing him your ID, right? So is there a way that this bouncer can know that you're at least 21 years old and eligible to, go in the bar and drink without showing your ID? And the reason why you might not want to show your identification is because you don't want to show this stranger that you don't know, things like where you live and what your actual birth date is and all those things. Well, you can imagine it's much more so in the financial world. But where do we see it in the financial world where we give up way too much information? Well, I've talked in the past about things like mortgages or just about any loans, but things like mortgages, right? When I am applying for a mortgage, when I'm applying for a loan like this on a house, not only am I giving up information, obviously, about the house I want to buy, but I have to fill out things like tax returns. I have to give tax returns, right? I have to give W-2s. I have to give, 1099s. I have to show my investment accounts, my bank accounts, all this information that of course, I'm giving to someone who is processing this information. I might be sending it over email. I might be transmitting it that way. Hopefully, I'm doing it in a very safe and secure way. But I'm giving them all this information about me. This, of course, not only tells what I earn, how much money I have, but it gives things like social security numbers, access to so much of my information, and some of it might not be needed. So why might that information not be needed? Well, let's say I'm applying for to get a loan for a house, and let's say that house is worth $500,000, and I don't know what I have to show to prove that I can purchase a house for $500,000. But let's say, just for argument's sake, that I make $1 million a year. Well, I don't need this person to know that I make $1 million a year. I don't need them to know where all my income streams come from necessarily. To qualify for this house. I might not need to show that much. All they need to do is essentially check some boxes and make sure that their requirements, so the requirement for this $500,000 house might be, let's say $500,000 in verified income. It might be, income from certain sources, right? It might not be that I can get all that from, one windfall account or something like that. It might be that income comes in steady streams. They might be looking for things like, what's my credit history, those kinds of things. But all they're saying is your credit score has to be, let's say, 700 plus, and you have to have this much income every year. And all they're looking to do is kind of check those boxes. But the amount of information I have to give them is so much to be able to check those boxes. Another place we see it, obviously, in the financial world is the accredited investor rules, right? If I want to invest in certain alternative investments or certain investments that are Reg D offerings or something that are only open to accredited investors, I have to give all this information proving that I'm worthy to invest in this. And the trouble is I have to do it over and over and over again for everything I want to invest in, because no one wants to take on that liability, right? Of maybe Adam invested, but he's not accredited, and then he lost money and he's going to sue us, or we're going to get fined or something. So the accredited investor rules, things like getting loans, things like, qualifying for jobs, whatever it might be, qualifying for insurance, all of those things that I have to give up a tremendous amount of personal information in order to prove that I can get this loan, in order to prove that I'm an accredited investor. And we see this so much in the financial world. So where are zero knowledge proofs going to come in? Zero knowledge proofs are going to come in here because let's say that I want to qualify for a mortgage now. And what the way it's going to work, the way it will likely work in the zero knowledge world is I might connect something like my wallet. And of course, a wallet, if you don't know, a wallet is how we store and how we control assets in the crypto world. So I have assets or assets that I control based on my wallet. So I might connect my wallet. In the mortgage company, and I'll say it's a company for now, but I'll go into a little detail about why it might not be a company in the future. But let's say this company says, here are the things we need to see. We need to know that Adam makes $500,000 in income every year. We need to know that he has a credit score 700 plus. We need to know that those income sources are verified, right? That's a check mark, by the way. Those income sources are verified. I'm going to connect my wallet. They're going to say, connect your wallet here. And our application, this app or code or whatever, is going to check, my wallet. But it's not going to check directly. It's not going to say, yes, Adam makes $1 million. There's this zero knowledge proof in the middle here. There's this kind of middle bit of code. And all it's going to say is, yes, we've verified this. So this is verified information that Adam fits all your criteria, but we're not going to give you all of Adam's information. And keep in mind, this code doesn't necessarily get all this information. What it's technically doing, again, I'm not going to get into all the technicals because I'll likely get it wrong and someone will tell me about it, but it's hashing information. And based on what that hash is, so it's taking all my data, it's putting it through an algorithm. This algorithm, this company's app, is trying to read that algorithm and determine, does this algorithm, does the hash that came out of that algorithm match what we're doing? And if the answer is yes, then bam, I'm approved for a mortgage. I'm approved for insurance, whatever it might be. So if it's the case of a mortgage, this might be a mortgage company, but this might also be a mortgage protocol, right? So now, if many of my assets, if my income is on chain, right? If I have income streamed to me, my income is via crypto. And that's not to say I work for a crypto company, but in the future, I might be working for a company that's deciding to pay me in USDC or US dollar coin straight to my wallet. And I want to be able to show that. I want to be able to show that I have enough assets. I want to be able to show that my credit score is a certain amount. And I would prefer to do that via code. So I might go to a mortgage company, but there might just be protocols out there. And by a protocol, I just mean a decentralized bit of code that manages an investment pool, okay? And this investment pool is there strictly to hand out mortgages, to lend money to people like me that want to borrow money for a house. So among all this information is probably also my wallet, is probably the house that I'm looking to buy, which includes the appraisal. And basically this code or this protocol is going to evaluate everything and decide, is it going to loan me money? And this can be done in seconds. There's not the 30 days to go through this process. This should be able to be done in seconds because all the information is going to be relatively transparent and on-chain. So I should be able to, again, via this code, which is the really important part, the zero knowledge part, prove that I should be eligible for this particular mortgage from this pool. And what this means is you can have a pool of money, so you can have other people connect their wallets and contribute something like USDC or DAI or Bitcoin or whatever they want to contribute to these pools. And the code of this pool is going to say, we're only going to lend to people who make this much money based on the value of the house, who have a credit score above 700. All the things that your bank or the mortgage company would usually look for, but you can write that into the code and they're going to have to go verify it. But again, they're not going to verify it by finding out all my information. There's going to be a code here in the middle that just says, yes, Adam fits this description, or no, he doesn't. Or not even yes, Adam. Yes, the person who controls this wallet, they don't even have to have a name, the person who controls this wallet actually qualifies for your loan. That's a place where zero knowledge proofs are going to be important. The same can be said for if we go to other ways that ZK proofs are going to be important, right? We could say the accredited investor rules. So you could have, some investments here, and remember, investments in the future might be tokenized. So I'm, figuring out if I want to buy some particular token. And to do so, I have to go into the exchange and I have to get qualified to be able to purchase some of these tokens, right? Because they're not just going to give them to anybody. So in order to be approved to get in the exchange to purchase these tokens, I'm going to, again, connect my wallet, and this exchange here that's going to have these tokens listed is going to look, again, at the hash from this algorithm where I connected my wallet, and they're going to determine, yes, Adam can come into our exchange and purchase these tokens, or no, he can't. But I want them to do that without having to give them every bit of information. On top of that, I don't want to have to give all my information to 10 different companies when I'm looking to make investments into alternatives or something. I don't want to have to do that for everybody. I don't want everyone in the world to have all my information. I don't want to have to do it over and over again. Another place where zero knowledge proofs are going to come in is in the realm of, let's say, insurance, right? Let's talk about something like life insurance, right? And let's assume that my not only my financial information, but my health information is on chain. So I want to apply for life insurance policy. All I do is essentially connect my wallet, and let's say a lot of my health insurance is on, or health information is on chain, and let's assume that it's relatively secure, that's not everyone can go get it. But again, I'm going to connect my wallet to the insurance company. There's going to be some code in here that's going to spit out a hash. And let's say Adam wants $1 million in coverage, and the life insurance company says, here's what we have to find out about your health. I connect my wallet. This hash says, yes, Adam fulfills our requirements. Therefore, he can get a $1 million life insurance policy. We don't have to go to his doctors or anything else because the health information is on chain. He connected his wallet. He gave us the ability to do this, but we don't really have to know all this other information about him. Right? They don't have to know that maybe I would have qualified for 10 million. They don't have to know how much money I make, except they have to know that there's a checkbox that says Adam makes enough to qualify for $1 million of life insurance. So these are some of the areas where ZK proofs are going to be really important in the future, and why it's important and pertinent for financial professionals to understand this, that there's going to likely be a time when I might be able to get a mortgage immediately. The tech is essentially there. We just have to start adopting it. We have to start putting it into practice. The ability is going to be there to get a mortgage or life insurance or show that I'm an accredited investor almost immediately without having to show all my information to someone. I'm just going to have to connect a wallet, and bam, it's going to be done almost instantaneously, but in a way where I didn't have to give up all my information. I didn't have to give up my privacy. So that's a little bit of a deep dive here on zero knowledge proofs and how they might affect the financial services industry in the future.